Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to create simple 2 VLAN with one router and one switch, and the diagram which I'm going to create is also known as route on a stick. So let's start with the diagram here. We're taking up 1941 router. We can take any router if you want, but it's better if you just to make you understand, we're going to take some typical 1941. We're going to take some switch like 2960 model. Okay, the reason I'm taking it because it has 2 gigabit Ethernet port, and I'm going to use one of them to connect to the router here. Now let's bring the computer. So we have like we're going to use 2 computers for each VLAN. So we're going to take 4 computers, and let's decide that this is going to be one VLAN, this is going to be another VLAN. Now to make it a good look, we're going to create a design. Let's say we make up Eclipse, fill the color, take some like some sort of color to just to show you that this is one VLAN. Let me take another color. Anything you can take up, but that's another VLAN. Now one thing before we start, one thing is important. Whenever you start the work, clear your designing part, make all the labels clear what exactly you're doing. So I'm bringing a label here, this is label, and I'm going to put a label here saying as this is for me. For example, let's say I'm going to take it as VLAN as 10. Okay, you can give an I want to give a name, so I'm going to write the name even though so this is just a label. You're not trying to configure anything with this thing. So let's say for example I'm taking sales. Okay, and you need to give some kind of ID to this VLAN. So let's take a VLAN ID. I'm going to take it as 192.168 dot, let's say 10 dot, you can take anything like say 254. Okay, so 255, and this is class C, class C full addressing. This one we're using it here. Now let's say we're going to take it as VLAN 20. You can give any name. Let's say I'm going to take it as marketing. Okay, and we're going to give a VLAN ID here. So 192.168.10.254. okay, so I'm trying to label it before I start the work. So what we're doing is that we're going to consider this as VLAN 10, all the computer in this department, and the VLAN IP address, the ID which is I'm taking as 10.254. so logically if this is 10.54, that means the network ID of this VLAN will be 10.0. Oh, I made a mistake here. This should be, let's say I'm taking as 20. Now so this is, let's say, VLAN 20, and I'm going to take as 192.168.20.254, and the ID will be network ID of this IP address will be 192.168.20.0. Now this is just the IP address we have taken it. We will be configuring or declaring the IP address for this VLAN in the router for routing purpose. Okay, we are not going to declare this too in the switch. Yeah, of course, the VLAN we are going to create in the switch. So let's join this, and we're going to start the process. So computer, fast Ethernet, you can put in number 1, put in number 2 if you want. You can put it anywhere wherever you want, but just remember the port number. So let's say in this one we're going to take it as we can do from, let's say, 10. Okay, so this will be going into number 11. Now if you want to see the port numbers labeling automatic to come up, you go to option, or go to preferences, and just click on always show port labels, and the port label is going to come up here. So you can see the port labels here. Now to join the router and the switch, you can take now again direct cables. You can join it from gigabit 0 or any one of it, and since this switch also have some gigabit, so we're going to join in any one of it here. Now just for maximum bandwidth, or maximum amount of data can pass through the 2 gigabit port. So I'm joining gigabit port of this one to gigabit port. You can join from gigabit port of this one to fast Ethernet port of this one, or anything vice versa. There's no problem, but uh, is advisable when you have a gigabit port, join 2 gigabit port for maximum bandwidth. Now, so let's configure regarding here. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a VLAN 10 and we're going to create a VLAN 20 in this switch first. Okay, now before we give it anything, let's decide some more thing. What about the IP address of the computer? So let's say we take 192.168 and this ID is, you know, the IP address of VLAN you have taken 10.254. So the IP address of these computers should also be within the same network. So we're going to take it as .10.10. So I mean 168.10.1. Now let's take for this one 192.168.10.2, like that. You can take for the another computer 10.3, 10.4, 10.5, 10.6. So all those computers with 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, okay, will belong to a network called so if you want me to put just let me let you know that the whole network ID will be 192.168.10.0. So this is called network ID. Okay, so let's do for this one also. So you're going to take 192.168.20.1. This one will be 192.168.20.2, and you're going to go on like that. Let's say the whole network will be known as network ID as 192.168.20.0. Okay, so now let's make it clear with this. See, computer ID I've taken as 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, 10.4, 10.5, 10.6. Now all these computers are going to belong to the VLAN. Okay, so that's why the network I made it common here. So they belong to the same network 192.168.10.10.10. So the whole network, including the VLAN IP addresses, you can say that that network ID is 10.0. So in a similar way, here if you can see that they're having IP address 20.1, 20.2, 20.3, 20.4, even the VLAN IP address 20.254, they belong all to the same network ID known as 20.0. Now one thing, before we start configuring it, we have to let's give the IP address of these computers. Now you know what is the IP address. Let me show you this. So we clicked on this computer. To give the IP address to this computer, click on desktop. Okay, go to this IP configuration and you can give the IP address what you decided, 192.168.10.1. Once you click, subnet mask will come automatically. Default gateway, you're not doing subnetting, so you don't need to worry about this thing. Now default gateway meaning all these computers are inside a VLAN of whose IP address we decided is going to be this one. So this IP address will become the gateway for this computer, or for any computer in this VLAN. So that's why in the default gateway you need to give this IP address 192.168.10.254. And you might be thinking like, why then regarding this 10.254, where we'll be defining, where we'll be configuring this IP address about this VLAN, that we have to declare it in the router. We just decided right now, so we're going to use those things. So let's do for the next one. When you come up here in this one, you can take as 192.168.10.2. Subnet mask will come. Once you press tab, it comes automatically. Once you press another tab, then we're going to give 192.168.10. Again 254. Even for this computer, the gateway will be this. Similar, let's do for this one. So if you come up here, let's do this one. So for example, for in this one, 192.168.20.1, this comes automatically. This one will be 192.168.20.254, right? Now let's do for this one. Desktop, then 192.168.20.2. This will come again as usual, Default gateway will be 192.168.20.254, because for all these computers this will be the gateway. Once you give all these, once you do this labeling, it's very good. You should have a good habit of labeling it first before you start the actual configuration. So once you label it, we have given the configuration. Now let's create a VLAN in the switch. So how do you create a VLAN in the switch? Is you go into the switch. Okay, you go in the switch. So go in CLI. Now just press enter, come up to this user mode. We need to go into the global configuration mode. So in order to do that, you first need to go into enable to go into the privilege mode. This hash sign again. In order to go into the configuration mode, you need to give as conf t. Make sure you know which mode you are in. This arrow meaning the user mode, the basic mode. You can't do anything in much in this. So you need to press you need to type enable, enter to come into this mode, hash mode, that's privilege mode. But even in privilege mode you can't do configuration, so that's why you have to give configure t in order to come into the global configuration mode. Once you come in the global configuration mode, now you can create VLAN, like say we can say VLAN space and 10 and then press enter. So the VLAN will be created in this switch. Now note the point here, once you press VLAN 10, VLAN is created already and you are now in that VLAN 10 mode. So you are not in a global configuration mode, you are in the global configuration inside the VLAN mode. So meaning now if you want to give the name to the VLAN, so let's say I decided I want to give sales, so you can give the word name and then sales. So press enter. So what happened is now this VLAN 10 will get a name as sales. If you don't want to give a name, you can just simply type exit. You could have come out. Even now, once after giving a name, you can press exit and you come out. So you are back in again in the global configuration mode. Now let's create another one. So let's say we'll say VLAN 20. Okay, and let's say again you are in the VLAN mode of 20. So if you want to give a name, let's say a name, and you decided you're going to give marketing. So let's give the marketing here. So marketing, and then once you give marketing, let's say you come out. So 2 VLAN is created. Okay, and how would you see that the 2 VLAN is created? So you need to come out of this mode into previous mode, privilege mode, and then you can give a command called show VLAN. So we can press exit and we can go back, but I think it's going to be a waste of time. So here in Cisco Packet Tracer you can run those commands here itself. You don't need to go outside the mode. So what you just have to do is you just need to type say do show VLAN. So we're giving a command called VLAN, but just add a word do. So what advantage is that you don't need to come out of this mode to run this command. So once you give this, you can see that in the VLAN they have a default VLAN 10, but apart from that, okay, VLAN 1 and all the ports are the member of VLAN 1 by default every time. So what we see here, that we created 2 VLAN, both are active. One is 10, which name is sales, 20 marketing, but there is no port assigned to this VLAN, neither to VLAN 10, neither to VLAN marketing. But one thing is clear, the 2 VLAN is created. Okay, so let's press enter. Let's come to down. Now let's do one thing. Let's make this computer a member of VLAN 10 and make this computer a member of VLAN 20. So how do you going to make a member of, how are you going to make this computer a member of VLAN 10? So just find out that these computers are connected to which port of the switch. Now I can see here, this is port number 1. This computer is port number 2. Okay, you can see from here, port number 1, port number, so port number and port number 1 and port number 2, I want them to become a member of VLAN what? 10. So what you're going to do is, you're going to say first interface, and since you want both the port, you can use the word called range. So interface range F0 by 1 hyphen 2, meaning you're saying that you want to declare that the interface ranging from 1 to 2, that means from 1 and 2. See, if you have only one interface, you don't need to give range. You just need to give say as F0 by 1. That's it. But if you have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 interface together, you want to do it, you need to add the word called range, f0 by 1 comma 2. Okay, either you can give like this, or you can say comma 2, that means 1 and 2. But the meaning of this one is, it means 1 to 2. 1 to 2 in the meaning, say for example 1 to 5, so meaning from 1 up till 5. But if you give comma 5, meaning it's only 1 and 5. So anyhow, it's up to you. I want to give 1 to 2. So you are in the interface range mode. That means 2 ports are together. So if you want to declare both of them to be the member of VLAN 10, what you need to give is, you need to give a command called switch port access VLAN 10. The meaning of is, you're saying that this switch port, this 1 and 2, make it access to VLAN 10. So these two become the member of VLAN 10. So you'll see some color will change from green to orange, and again it'll change to green after some time. But you have changed the membership, because I told you by default, if you see previously, by default all the ports are a member of VLAN 1. But after executing this command, port number 1 and port number 2 will become a member of sales. Okay, which I'll show you little later. So now you're still in the interface mode. Come out from there, and let's do the same thing for these two. So these two port are, I told you, this is port number, see if you can see, port number 10, and this is port number 11. So let's make port number 10 and 11 for the member of VLAN 20. And how you do it, the same way, you're going to say the word interface range f0 by 10 to 11. Make sure you have come out from the interface range mode. You should be in the global configuration mode now, because you're doing configuration for another interfaces. So do that one, and then again the word same thing, switch port access VLAN, and you can say what, 20. Now those who don't know what I did here, you can simply type SW and then press tab. The whole command come itself, so you don't have to type the whole word. So if you type SW and then press tab, the whole thing will come up. Okay, then space, if you type ACC, press tab, the whole thing comes up. Anyhow, all this thing has been taught in the class, so you should be knowing it. And then after this, yeah, so now once you declare this, these two become the member of VLAN 20, and you can see this orange color. So green has changed to orange, and again orange will change into green after a while. So again you are in the interface mode. Come out from there. So you already created VLAN. Now you already made this two a member of VLAN 10 by this, and this two you already made a member of VLAN 20. Now to make you sure that we have done it, we will run the same command called do show VLAN. Okay, so once I show you, now you can see the same VLAN 20 and 20 is there, and you can see port number 1 and 2 from here has come out now and become a member of VLAN 10, and 10 and 20 we have become a VLAN member of 20. So it's quite easy. This is, you can do at the same time, you can check it to confirm what you did, whether you did it right, whether you did it wrong. You can check it. If by mistake, if you have done the wrong port to the member of anything, you can again do the same thing. You can run like this. Say for example 10, by mistake you made a member of VLAN 20 and you want to take it out. So you have to give the same thing, same like interface f0 by 10, and the way you gave switch port access VLAN 10, same command you're going to give it, but you just add the word no space switch port access VLAN 10 if you make a mistake. Anyhow, so VLAN is created, we become a member. Now you can see, now all the computers in the same VLAN, they can talk to each other. In this computer they can talk to each other, and I can show you this ping command from here. Take this one, ping it from here to here, and you see successful. If you ping from here to here, it's successful. But if you ping from this VLAN to VLAN, they won't work. This one to this one, see, it's going to be fail. Always try 2 times, because in Cisco Packet Tracer, even if it's correct, the first one will give you fail. So from here to here, it still give you fail. Now there's meaning behind why they are not can't send you the data from one VLAN to another, because inter VLAN routing is not being done. Now to send the data from one VLAN to another, router has to come into play, and we haven't configured the router till now. So to make the two VLAN to talk to each other, you need to declare information about the two VLAN in the router. Once you declare the two VLAN route information in the VLAN, they can talk to each other. Now how do you do this? So let's show you that part. Go into click on that, go into CLI, continue. They're asking you continue with configuration dialog. Say no, I don't want it, I'll do myself, and press enter. Now again you are in the user mode, so you say en. Again you say the word configure T to go into the global configuration mode. Now once you go in you're in the global configuration mode. Now what the first thing we'll do is, by default the router ports are always off. That's why it's red in color, and that's why even this is red in color. Now switch ports are always on. The reason for this one to be red is because the router port is switched off. So we will first switch on this port G0 by 0. So how you do it? You say interface G0 by 0, okay, and say you are in that interface mode. So you're going to say no shut to make it on, and you can see that green line comes up. Press enter here, so you come in the next mode, but this will be changing to green, and consecutively this will also change into green soon. So now how we can make these two VLAN to talk to each other, as I taught in the class, that we have to create two interface for VLAN. If you have two VLAN, you have to create two sub interface of this VLAN in the router and on this port. If you have 4 VLAN, you have to create 4 sub interface. If you have 10 VLAN, you have to create 10 sub interface here. So how do you do this on this port? Okay, so how you do this, let's show you the first how to create an interface. You say interface G0 by 0, because that is what, so we need to create sub interface in this port. So first I'll create the sub interface for VLAN 10 and on this port. So how do you create it? You're going to say interface 0 by 0, and you're going to say the word and then dot 10, meaning you're creating a sub interface dot 10 in this port. So once you press enter, they will show you some sign that they have created an interface and the state has been changed to up. Press enter once you come up here. Now once this interface is created, as I told you in the class, we need to tell them what kind of protocol will be working, who's going to manage the VLAN. And we told you there are two kind of protocol which manages the VLAN. One is the Cisco proprietary one, that's called ISL, inter switch link, and one is open source VLAN protocol that is called 802.1q. Now you can do both of them. So you need to encapsulate those protocol, any one of it. So how to do, you just say en and press tab, the whole word will come up, encapsulation. Then you're going to say .1q. Now you can't just type 802.1q. In short, they call it as 8.dot1q instead of saying 802.1q, but it's actually referring to 802.1q and space 10. So what does it mean? You're saying that in this interface, try to add up a protocol called .1q for VLAN 10. Now once you did this, now you need to add up. Now you need to declare what is the IP address of that VLAN. So now what you decided here, you have to declare it now. So how to give an IP address, how to declare an IP address of VLAN 10? You're going to say IP address 192.168.10.1, sorry, 10.254 space 255.255.255.0 and enter. Exit out. Do the same thing for the next VLAN. And how you're going to do this? You can press the up arrow key or down arrow key of your keyboard to get the previous stored command, like this. Delete this and change into 20. Then encapsulation, which will be now for 20, and IP address, you need to change now this to 20. Okay, and now don't bring your mouse pointer at this point and try to change the number, it won't. You need to bring the cursor by your keyboard key and then press enter and exit it out. You have done the configuration. But wait a moment, we have done it, but still it's not going to work. We can show you. So if I say send it from here to here, it'll say in progress failed. Again, if you send it from here to here, in progress failed. And the reason is, now once you create the two sub interface, it should work, but it's not working. The reason is that this path by default is not in trunk mode. Now what is the meaning of trunk? Trunk meaning that once you declare this path to be trunk, then data from different VLAN can pass through this wire. Since it's not trunk, so it's not allowing data from different VLAN to pass through, and that's why you're not getting this. So in order to make it trunk, what you do is go in interface 0 by 0. Okay, so you just say make sure you're in the configuration mode. So go into that 0 by 0 interface and say switch port. Okay, let's show you one thing. It's better come out from here. We can declare the trunk in the switch here itself. Another thing is, if you declare this point to be trunk, they will negotiate the other end and they will make it a trunk. So let's declare the trunk in the switch. So we come in the switch by clicking there. You are already in the global configuration mode, but if by chance you are not, then as I told you, you have to press EN, come into privilege mode, then conf T, and then come up here. Once you come in this mode, which point you are in? You are in the port gig 0 by 1. So you say interface G 0 by 1, switch port. Okay, you're going to say the word mode, because now by default they are in access mode in switch. So I wanted to change this access mode to trunk. So switch port mode trunk, and you can see this some changes will come up. You change it to orange and you'll change it to green color. That means your trunking is done, and even this end trunking will be done automatically. You don't have to configure, because they will negotiate and they will make other end also as trunk. So once you come up here, come out, exit, and your final design is ready. And this diagram is a method of creating VLAN, but this is known by a famous name. It's called router on a stick. The reason is why it's called router on a stick. You can see something, router is on a stick. It's just a name given to it, but that doesn't have any significance in terms of configuration. So let's show you. I'm trying to send the data from this VLAN to this VLAN. Shows you failed, but don't panic, because try 2 times and it's successful. So again, you send from here to here, it might show you fail. Again, try it again, and then after that, once pinging is done, then you can send many time wherever you want, and it'll work every time now. So this is a simple example of how to create VLAN with one switch, with one router. Thank you for listening.